By the way, I'm looking at. Have you guys made this remark before that Patrick kind of looks like a guy that
So excited.
he'd be the guy in week 2 when there was the rose ceremony and you showed a guy in the crowd and you're like, I've never seen that guy before. Of course he's going to get eliminated. Like you look like you could be on the show. Is what I'm saying. It's a compliment.
Thanks, Alec.
It's so not a compliment, but it's so true.
It's really impressive that Alec was able to say that without even seeing Patrick's barbed wire tattoo.
Oh, hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of Another Bachelor Podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody? Put your confidence on, boys. I almost forgot.
Still sticking with it?
Yeah, put your confidence on, boys. That's my new take.
Behind the glass is Pat, the producer of this here podcast.
Great to be here. I'm so happy.
Joining us in studio, a very special guest, co-creator of the hit Fox sitcom Dads, Alec Sulkin.
Woo!
Oh, my stars. What a surprise. I can't believe you brought that up.
It's
hi,
funny because
guys.
it's a weird credit to give you, considering your...
You've accomplished so much.
Weird is a kind way of describing what that credit is.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing it up. There were a lot of good people involved in it. Some of them have died.
Giovanni Ribisi.
Rest in peace.
Family Guy. Ted 2. I mean, the man's a comedy factory. We don't know why you're here, but thank you for joining us.
Twitter's the shit. And this guy's OG on Twitter. You didn't even cite that. It's been doing it forever.
Yeah, well, you know more about the tweet sphere than I do. I don't know his lore on that platform.
Just that he's a joke machine, and I've been following him since the beginning. Does Shaq follow you? Because he was huge on Twitter real early.
He does not.
All right.
I think I would be aware of that.
This podcast is going to change
That's
that
gonna do it.
somehow, some way.
I may not have Shaq, but I have Morris Chestnut.
Woo!
Not as good. So anyways, what is your history with this here show, sir? How long have you been watching?
The only season that I have not watched of this show is the very first season.
Holy
I didn't
shit.
see whatever his name was.
Yeah.
So
Deep.
I've been here for a while. I have many highlights and lowlights. We were talking a little bit beforehand. I think the Jake Pavelka season stands up, cuts through the noise.
Yeah.
Shut up! Just shut up!
Yeah. Oh,
Stop talking!
God, that special with the two of them was one of the greatest things ever. I have to say, so it was a story involving that about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago when that was on TV. I was briefly dating Sarah Silverman, and we were out.
She's cool.
She's very cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
We were out at the Grove having lunch, and at this restaurant outside, and all these paparazzi were there taking pictures, and Sarah and I were looking at each other like, oh boy, here they come again for us. And literally at the table right behind us were Jake and Vienna, Jake Pavelka and Vienna. And of course, they were taking just pictures of them, like we were in the way of all these photos.
Did you move?
No. We stayed right there.
Oh, that was rude of you.
In the paparazzi's defense, he was beating her in public.
That's right. Yeah. It seemed like kind of a story that you'd want to pursue.
We were talking about this off mic, of course, but we don't know how this man is not in jail for murder.
But I know you, the real you, and I knew you would do it if I didn't.
You don't know me, and I wouldn't have done it. And if you
If I don't know you, then why?
please stop interrupting me. The thing is, I would have never done this to somebody that I love.
Top 5 reality show
I got
moment.
down
This
on
is
Top
really
5.
incredible.
It was great. Oh, she's done.
That's
She's
the first I've
done.
ever met my life.
Oh,
I'm
God.
over it.
Well, the poor girl, when she's starry-eyed, she sees a handsome man and she gets together with him. Little does she know, he's a true, full-blown monster.
He was a total, complete monster. Just felt like there was a lot of, you got a sort of a sexual rage coming from him.
Yeah.
Like there's something that he's confused about.
He makes Christian Grey look like Mickey Mouse.
Right.
You don't want to see him in the bedroom.
Oh, God.
You know who's not a monster, although very, very dull, is Becca, the season that we are currently on.
Mm-hmm.
We should jump into her quest for love. Before we do that, a little bit of housekeeping. iTunes ratings and reviews. Thank you guys so much for doing that. And also, remember last week we said, if you're in line at the grocery store, Tell somebody about our podcast.
Because I'll tell you what, our numbers didn't double from last week, so everybody didn't tell one person.
Right. What did you say? You only need to do it 4 times before you get to 1 million? What the fuck?
I don't understand algorithms, but it's something like that.
I got some business to attend to as well, Dylan, before we start the show. I would like to make an omission of a mistake that was on this show last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, on our Facebook group, they're very passionate people. There was a lot of controversy there. Apparently, I said the name of Ruth McClanahan.
Right.
Her name is actually Rue McClanahan. So I forgive me.
Yikes.
Forgive
me. Not a good move at all. How did you fuck that up? You masturbated to her frequently. How did you mess that up? And we should be saving this for a segment that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. Man, we're on the same page, Patrick. I'll tell you that. We'll get to it later.
Let's get into the show. Before we do this, part of the show is brought to you by Boost Mobile. Are you a whore? Wrangler of Whores, the rap artist exhibit. If you are, then we're the wireless provider for you. Boost Mobile for literally only those people. We get into Blake and Becca right out of the gates having a very revolting conversation.
Smart on his behalf, though. Real smart move he did there.
Got out in front of it.
He's cementing himself in this competition because she is, as you've deemed,
the lowest self-esteem bachelorette ever.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
And that's there are a few horses in that race, but she
takes the triple crown.
She should not be on television, period. And it's clear with every conversation she has. She's like, "You really like me? Wait, I don't think you do really like me. No, I'm skeptical. Now I'm gonna cry." Like that's her whole process, just back and forth between those two things.
Do you feel the same way?
I do, and it was just smart of him to be like, even though you're super boring, I still want to bear children with you.
Yeah.
And he's trying to field a basketball team.
Oh God, I used to be a 2 kind of kid guy, and now I'm a 3. This guy is so awful. He's so awful.
He is, Dylan,
so seriously.
But this guy came out of nowhere. I mean, he was completely irrelevant until this week.
No,
this is episode 4.
violently disagree with you.
I'm telling you, this is the first time he got major camera time with him, and it was
He had a one-on-one.
This was where he stuck out of the pack. I hadn't seen him making out with them.
You are so wrong.
This part right here will be in next week's errors and omissions.
I respectfully disagree.
He is a lock for hometowns. Another reason why I'm not a fan of Blake. The guys are talking about this fall. I think it's the best quote of the season so far. He says, "Just to roll off a bunk bed and almost end your life." That's pretty terrifying.
When you put it in black and white terms like that, there is pretty much no worse way to go out.
But it's not that's not what happened. He was not almost dead. He was not fighting for his life. He rolled out of a bunk bed.
Right.
Blake's too intense about everything.
It seems that way, and we hear a little bit about his internet history. It seems like he's been intense about the wrong things.
But
many
what?
times.
I believe he's talking about Garrett. They are
Garrett.
They are eerily similar.
Blake is the goofy one,
You
right?
threw me.
I said I had problems with names.
When you say goofy, Jordan's the goofy one,
No,
like the model.
Jordan's the model.
Okay, you know.
Blake looks like the sort of hickish Hick Miles Teller.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Spot on!
Right.
Oh, check at Another Bachelor podcast Instagram for a split of those two, because that's perfect.
That's
Yeah,
pretty beautiful.
They look alike.
Real quick, Jordan again displays kind of an evil devotion to his God, saying that he talks to God every day, and anyone who goes against him gets a thunderbolt or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's tough to pin Jordan down. I don't know. I like him, and then he says stuff like that, which is terrifying.
When do you like him?
Alec? Solidarity in this podcast right now. We are all fans of Jordan.
But you're fans of him, like because he's
Ironically.
entertaining.
Yeah. I think he's in on
You're
the
not
bit
like-
sometimes.
He's totally on the bit.
But there are a few moments where he's used vocabulary that escapes me right now that leads me to believe that he's not totally in on the joke and that his brain is just not.
That's why I said it's a
there.
little tricky to pin him down because he's so clearly so stupid.
Right.
But he's also like killing it with this character.
Yeah,
That's true. But remember Waboom?
Yes.
Yeah.
See,
this is like this season's Waboom.
This requires a little bit more nuance. He said, "I know, like I'm 007 all the time, and that's hard for you. He said that line perfectly.
He's like what they wanted Waboom to be. They couldn't keep Waboom around long enough because it was like too much. Like Jordan just rides this line. But you are right. He's also always kind of like halfway to saying like a good point, but then he makes him sound like an idiot. Like when David returned, he said David's face looked like a Picasso, and then he was like, he got the clock over there and the beach over there.
So Dali.
That was Salvador Dali.
Right.
Persistence of Time. I believe we have it behind the glass. I was going to educate our guest, but he's very schooled.
Really?
Yeah,
You're
the
gonna do
melty
this
clock.
right
The
now.
melty clock. We all know that,
Yeah. So Jordan, I mean, if he just would have ended after Picasso, we would have got it. But then he had to reference a specific painting, and
I
he
know,
fucked it
and
up.
he ruined it.
You know, everybody says that guy wasn't on psychedelics, and I just don't believe it. Pat, you're very quiet. What are your thoughts on this?
On Jordan?
Yeah.
I think he has a pattern to kind of rhythm to. Well, he's definitely on the spectrum. He's definitely retarded in some way. Okay. But he could be a savant too, because like one thing, if you notice, like she gave him the golden shorts, and then his brain starts flipping into puns with the word golden. He was like, "I'm the golden boy." Well, I'll be wearing the golden crown. He like gets fixated.
I do that. My mind does that too.
Yeah.
Geniuses think alike.
No, I
Comedy
don't think
legends
so.
think alike.
A gold jacket, green jacket. Who gives a shit?
By the way, I'm looking at. Have you guys made this remark before that Patrick kind of looks like a guy that
So excited.
he'd be the guy in week 2 when there was the rose ceremony and you showed a guy in the crowd and you're like, I've never seen that guy before. Of course he's going to get eliminated. Like you look like you could be on the show. Is what I'm saying. It's a compliment.
Thanks, Alec.
It's so not a compliment, but it's so true.
Well, there was a guy last night they did that with. Like at the end of the show, it was like, who's going to get eliminated? And there was a guy I'd never seen before.
Who?
He was banjo guy Ryan. I think he's talking about. I actually love that guy, but it's really impressive that Alec was able to say that without even seeing Patrick's barbed wire tattoo.
That solidifies it.
Just hidden under that short sleeve shirt we're looking at.
Oh,
So
my
he's sort of
gosh.
like a departed gang member kind of guy.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's a capo.
But so with all that talk about Jordan being cool, David gets the pity rose.
He just doesn't look that bad. Like, I know it looks bad, but like the blurred face, he looks like a time warp. Like he broke his nose. I know it was a pretty rough injury, but he doesn't look that bad.
It's just the blood in the eye.
Yeah.
The blood in the eye is the only thing. And also, he kind of stinks.
Oh, he's
like
the worst.
he like,
Kind of?
Well, I mean, because I'm sort of anti-Jordan.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like David. I want to be like, attack this guy. But then
can't.
every time he did, he has that thing of like he gets a little nervous when he goes to say something, and
So
it's like his whole
nervous.
body language kind of changes. And
And Patrick is convinced he sounds like the Grudge. If you're wondering what. and
that's good.
and I
Because
would-
he's just kind of a.
He's got male vocal fry.
He's got male vocal fry.
He's pathetic, and those injuries on his face compound how pathetic he looked. Like looking at his face, he looked like a weak little gerbil or something.
Yeah.
I hate this guy.
I'm Jewish, shocker. And I don't know if David is Jewish, but he just reminds me of like a kid I would hate at Jewish summer camp.
Totally. Yeah.
It's just like the kid who
Yeah.
like brought his own really nice tennis racket, but it's not that good. And
The guy that like they were constantly calling your parents about because you guys never got along.
exactly,
Yeah.
Dude,
that's right.
The kid who brought his own tennis racket but wasn't good. I know those kids.
Oh yeah, it was like a white ceramic one, and you're like, wow, that's a fancy racket. It was just terrible.
And you mentioned how he's kind of weird. This is a theme you might pick up on with us. He already said Jordan was retarded. We have a history of a quick trigger finger diagnosing like autism, and I think this guy has it for sure. He's weird. He doesn't understand social cues, and he thinks he's funny.
Yeah. There's some trouble there. For sure.
I love the timing of the producers. Jordan sitting down with Becca after the gold shorts, and David's there the whole time. They're just like, wait. Okay, walk in now. Everybody's cheering. He's like, damn it, David!
And I don't really know if there's anything to add on to this part, but the gold shorts came with no context. Like,
None.
was there some conversation early in the season that came up? It
Well, I
pissed
feel
me
like
off.
Becca was asking him, "Are you wearing those gold shorts now?"
It was
But
weird.
he was.
Yeah, I was a little lost with that too because he was wearing underwear last week. I don't know how they upgraded to gold.
It just also had the feel of like not to call everybody gay,
Yeah.
but he just
we do that too.
Right. I mean, he took the shorts off. And he couldn't have been more excited to get out of there and walk in front of all the guys.
Yeah.
Like he put it on display for Becca for a fleeting moment. And then she was, someone else came over and he's like, okay, fine, bye. And he just ran through to the guys.
Just shaking his rump in front of them.
Yeah.
Pat's been calling him gay for a week, so you guys
There you go.
may be
Out
on
in
to
front on
something.
that. Proud
last
Massachusetts.
The
guy.
last thing I'll say about this is just that we know that David is a dead man walking. But
Yeah.
the philosophy is seriously broken. The cardinal rule is don't rap, but also don't focus on your enemy. You will both go down. In
Always.
flames.
And that's going to happen next
Yep.
week, clearly, when
Yep.
they have that 2-on-1, which is, you kind of cynically have to feel like possibly somebody behind the scenes was encouraging Becca to keep Jordan just so they could do this
Totally.
stupid 2-on-1 because
Yeah.
it's the only two adversaries they have. Like they're not that great.
Well,
this
he was
year.
saying at the end of this episode, he was like, I'm not going home. I'm not going home. And it could have come across as false confidence, but he knew for certain.
Right.
He wasn't
Somebody
going
has
home.
assured me I'm not going home.
And he'll be left sitting next to David as Becca flies away in a helicopter.
Yeah, with dust in their face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I guess just a little bit more on this David guy. He was saying when he actually sits down with Becca, he tells her that her call is what kept him going. And that frustrated me because we were told he was in the ICU, not true, and kept going. That would seem like you were in you have a terminal illness or
Right.
you're really, really in bad shape. He just fell on his face.
He
Kept going.
smashed his face.
And last week we talked about how bitchy he was for a number of reasons. Kept the hospital bracelet on this week. So bitch.
He's so confident. He's like, don't be gone for too long. He knows he's got that rose.
and also, I'm just going to start calling him Jewish Summer Camp David.
yeah.
He did that thing that was so. This was probably when I had the thought when they were doing that axe toss, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I could do this." He's just like, "I don't know if I'm allowed to do it anymore." And it's just reminded me of every kid who's just like, "I have asthma. I can't do this."
I may keep my nickname for him, Sniveling Little Fuzzy Gopher.
That's also good.
Okay, so we've got a rose ceremony here. My favorite is Nick's appearance at the rose ceremony in a tracksuit.
Yeah,
Power move.
That guy though.
Not a power move. This is the worst power move I've ever seen in my life.
It's
and
called giving up.
Yeah.
I don't know why he refers to this as laying it all out on the line.
I love that. Yeah.
He is sinking into irrelevancy, and this is the most unmemorable way to dig yourself out of it.
And he also has the look of somebody who's just gone.
Yeah.
They're just, they're going to get eliminated.
Right.
And he does have sort of like a boxer's face.
All over the Another Bachelor podcast social media today, I put a side-by-side. I think he looks eerily similar to the Johnny Depp voiced Ringo. You got to see the side-by-side.
Rango.
Rango, yes.
Rango.
I know what I said, Ringo.
Yeah, you said Ringo.
Yeah.
But it's Rango. Right?
No.
Is it Ringo or Rango?
Oh, now I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's Ringo.
That gecko?
Yeah.
I think it's Rango.
This is why the terrorists hate us.
I think this is my fault.
This would be a great job for a producer, Johnny
Dude,
Depp, Ringo.
This
I guarantee it's not Ringo, but I think it's Rango, but it might be something else. But there's
totally
an
my
A.
fault. I don't know how I fucked this up because one of my first jobs ever was in a quality control bungalow, and I had to watch Rango like 35 times
See?
in different languages.
The jury's in. Or the jury's out. No, the jury's back.
It should be jury's in, but it's jury's out.
It's Rango.
Damn it.
It's my
okay.
fault. I texted you Ringo last night. It's totally on me.
Another
Wow.
one for errors and omissions.
I think you just got Frank Underwooded by Dylan here. He did that on purpose, feeding you misinformation. He's gaslighting you.
Guys, stay tuned for Spacey's next movie, $1 Billion Boys Club or whatever it is, coming out in November.
Love it.
Okay, but you said boxer's face. He looks exactly like Conor McGregor. Exactly like Conor McGregor. Just look at him. It's crazy. It's uncanny. So Sabretooth and the white guy go home.
Sabretooth, by the way, is long-haired man bun Mike, who
Wolverine's brother.
just found out today is actually a writer for Pro Football Focus. So I was like
Mad
pretty impressed.
respect for him.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
that's
damn
good.
it. No more to add. And he's also got mad hops. Check his Instagram page. He can dunk he can throw down.
Can dunk?
Oh, like
He really can.
Like all-star game level dunk.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty impressive.
Not
man
Kristan
bun.
exactly, but
Oh, God, we got to get into Kristan later. It's so unbelievable that she sent him home. We got to go to Utah, boys, but before we do, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Cats and Dogs. Cats and Dogs, wonderful new additions to any home. A brand new pet can bring sunlight and warmth into your family unit, whether you need it or not. Have a new home that feels a little too big for your loving wife and your youngsters? Get a golden. Tired of writing novels in your study alone and in silence? How about a tabby? Tired of those 5 a.m. jogs with Just the Economist podcast as a running companion? How about a Bichon Frise? Cats and dogs round out your life, providing love, reassurance, and happiness, whether you need it or not. You have a child whose love for flames and cutting needs to be mellowed out? Get him a golden. Have a grandma who sits at the window, breathing on the glass and writing "I want it to go black" for hours on end? How about a tabby? Have a husband whose work and high finance preoccupies so much of his time that a wedge has been driven between you? A wedge so deep that you no longer love one another, you no longer know who each other are. How about you get him a Bichon Frise? You see, dogs and cats are life-changing and simply put, magic. So call your local shelter today for a brand new cat or dog, and remember, no breeders. Raise your glasses, boys. We're going to Utah. One-on-one with Garrett starts immediately.
which baffled me. No date cards. You just like got to steal Garrett. No one made a big deal.
I think like the editing, they're just like, doesn't matter. He's gonna win. Doesn't matter. just to finish it up. But as aforementioned, this is the young man whose thumbs find alt-right photographs on social media.
That's right. I screwed it up. Sorry, I got ahead of that one.
No, he's not a fan of David Hogg and his crisis act.
yeah. Did you see the specific?
I read the story when it first came out, but I didn't remember
You have to
the
see those.
specifics.
They're so funny.
The most of them were pretty innocuous, just like, I don't know, kind of hickish likes, but you're clearly dumb if you think David Hogg is a crisis actor.
Right.
You're just dumb.
To be fair, he didn't write the copy. He clicked like on it.
Oh yeah, hey. I think he
Pat, why are you jumping to his do you think David Hogg is a crisis
absolutely
actor?
not. I don't want a 14-year-old trying to teach me gun laws. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Here we go. We got it. This is
That's so red.
mid-state Massachusetts coming out here.
Yeah,
Get closer to the coast, pal.
I would like
teach you
to-
a few things.
I would like to know who's paying for his countrywide tour. That's all I'm saying. But no, a lot of people think this is going to be an issue because, like, in the off season, she was like she was a Bernie supporter and like really open about it. And I'm like, this is not going to be an issue. This is I'm from Wisconsin by way of Minnesota. This is every couple I know in the Midwest. The guy's a little right wing, the girl's a little left.
Yeah.
He'll say something off color every once in a while, and they'll just be, "Oh, Ryan, that's settle down." They're a perfect match.
Right, like if the Jews weren't running the banks, then maybe we could get ahead in life. Stuff
Oh,
like that.
Ryan.
I don't think this is going to be a problem if she picks him. I don't think that he's going to be the Bachelor if she does not pick him.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
this could be a PR issue.
Yes.
she's
you're right.
super.
Disney-run ABC.
She's super
Disney-run ABC.
into him though. Like this.
Oh, God.
You're into someone. You say stupid things like Garrett is really good at making eye contact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've talked about it before. I mean, what is good eye contact? Because I don't like a ton of eye contact.
Me neither.
I'm trying to get better at it, but I don't like looking people in the eye. It's weird. Anyways,
You could see her talking herself into him even when he was going through his divorce story. Which was a very funny, a weird waiting of time. It's like, we dated for 2+ years. We're engaged for a year and a half, married a week. And it was just like, I said it like that was normal. And you see her nodding and trying to take it without looking like she's just been punched in the gut.
We will get there getting ahead of ourselves.
yeah,
we try
Shit,
to
I did it's chronological.
We try to, but
we attempt to. You're a guest. You're a guest in our home.
I'm following your lead.
and we do it so often. We have a catchphrase: "Getting ahead of ourselves, getting ahead of ourselves."
All of us are right. We're picking up with the same thing. She really, really likes him. She does that trademark jump in the arms that Pat loves so much.
It's a jump, and then you wrap your legs around the person.
In the process of wrapping her legs around
that's
him,
a big Bachelorette move.
yes, it's huge,
and it's also big on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
When each girl here's my hometown. Let me wrap my legs around.
That's the move. Home time.
Yeah.
You can sometimes get up to four leg wraparounds.
That's
if
pretty
you
good.
don't get a leg wrap around,
You're out.
You're in trouble.
By the way, Clay Harbor's out with a leg wrap around. He's unavailable this week.
Oh, you would have loved it last week. I did a whole list of sports injuries that happened off the field, court, or diamond.
I don't know. About
What's that?
I did a whole list of professional athlete injuries that happened off court, but I did it off the top of my head, and I could only remember Clint Barmas fell down the stairs carrying deer meat.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I remember Irving Fryer cut his hand open before the Super Bowl
in '86. Apparently cutting meat, but we think it might have been fighting off a girlfriend.
Yeah. It was definitely in a fight of some kind, and they said it was either cutting meat or fish or something like that.
Yeah.
And this
Squish the fish.
Hey, we're
depressing
talking about
time.
athletes. We got to get to a couple star athletes here. We see the ski
Nice,
lift.
nice.
Good.
Thank
That was
you,
good.
guys.
Bringing us back.
The ski lift, they arrive at it, and she's just enchanted by him. She loves the fact that the smile takes up his entire face, and that he allows her to be her goofy self. When it's revealed that it's bobsledding, he says that his heart is going to be beaten for two reasons. One, Becca. Two, the adrenaline. I think he just gets a little too excited about this thing. It's the only awkward interaction I've seen them have. Like, they're both jumping up and down like
She
little
was
baby
nervous,
penguins.
clearly. She was nervous.
Yeah.
And he did, it was weird. Pat, maybe you noticed, he did like a weird half-assed Tom Brady, let's go. He did it twice. Like when they said the bobsled, he's like, let's go. And I was like, no. That's nowhere near the intensity we need for that phrase. And a depressing thing, you mentioned the chairlift. Like the moment you see the chairlift, there was like a weird little Olympic, sad, faded Olympic logo on the side, and you're like, oh yeah, the Olympics and Mitt Romney and all that weirdness, and like now there's this weird sort of skeleton of something that everybody paid a lot for
No
like
pun
10
intended.
years ago.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, you're watching a depressing part of history.
Yeah, it's like the Olympic stadiums in Manaus, Brazil, that U2 is supposed to be playing at.
Exactly. Yeah, every year they're coming down.
Bono's going to be here every year.
And then, only to make it sadder, we bring out the 2006 silver medalists in the bobsled.
Yeah.
Which, wow, dredging the sewer once again.
I love Garrett facing down two lesbians.
Yeah.
Telling their
That was
origin
weird.
story of how they fell in love.
Yeah, and you could see him almost wince, just knowing what you know about him. He just like took a
Absolutely.
perceptible back step. He's like, so Becca, you'll be in front of me, buffering me from this sin.
Yeah, these witches.
Yeah.
You could see on his face, in his mind, he was like framing them and trying to make a meme. He's like, "What do you get when you get two lesbian bobsledders?" But he had no punchline.
Yeah, that was very.
Yeah, it was apparent.
Strange.
You could see it. He was like, okay, cool.
Maybe he was just so excited though because he's a huge Cool Runnings fan.
Yeah, maybe. Although they're not black or Jamaican.
Wasn't there a big deal just made about like that Ripon kid, and it was like, oh, he's the first openly gay Winter Olympic
then
athlete.
the
But then
other
these two, they're
guy-
married.
They're married, and then the other guy who's commentating on all the ice skating is one of the gayest human beings I've ever
Boitano?
seen. Not Boitano, who
Was
again...
totally gay.
Who again...
Yeah.
Preceded all of them.
open? Yeah.
Anyways, fucking Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
Why do we need them?
weird.
Maybe they excluded ice dancers from the conversation because it's
Maybe,
assumed.
because it's a given.
Right.
After the date, I mean, he's just jacked up. He's so pumped, in fact, that he says he's on cloud 10.
It was a good bit of hyperbole. Got
Where
his
the
point
fuck
across.
is cloud 10? I don't know.
We came up with that on the spot, though. That's not bad. Riffing. 10.
Before
It's a higher cloud.
Before we get into the night date, we got to talk about the Earth and its roundness, right?
Sure. Kyrie Irving and other experts agree.
Is Kyrie trolling the entire United States? I don't know.
We're talking about Lincoln.
We are.
The Nigerian. Now, I want to go on record as saying I called this guy a lying fucking scumbag from day one.
Well, there were...
That is just
That's pretty well
that
done.
is dyslexia on display.
I call this guy a piece of shit from day one. And can I break some news here?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum,
All
bum,
right,
bum.
the
Impromptu
Nigerian,
PMZ.
the
Sorry.
guy who cried when his photo was thrown out the fucking window.
Yep.
And a weird sound effect happened as it hit air.
My heart was broken.
Oh, it was broken. Anyway, turns out this guy's getting, he's a fucking jailbird. It was announced this week that he got sentenced to 1 year in jail for
Wow.
indecent assault, which I believe is sexual assault.
Indecent?
I believe it was indecent assault. I checked it.
Is any assault decent?
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, so he was on a cruise ship last year. He felt up a girl. She said, "Get the heck away from me." He would not take his hands off her boobs. 2 witnesses saw this. He yelled at her. I believe he might have even pushed her. Anyway, charges were filed. And when this was going through, the reason he got away with being on the show through the application process is he simply did not answer the question that he had been arrested. And I guess that's enough through the application process to be on this show.
So I got my job here.
Now, I have been on a reality TV show, and it was a fucking book of an application process that you had to
What
sign.
reality TV show have you been on?
Yeah.
Why do I
Wait.
learn more horrifying things
Yeah,
about you
because
every
now
week?
maybe this is coming to light here. Maybe I have seen you before. I
know,
watch a lot of reality television.
It was a pilot. It never made air. When you sign up for one of these reality TV shows, you have to sign. You fill out an application where they ask you 18 different times in 18 different ways if you've ever been arrested, assaulted anyone, anything. They want to make sure that they don't have to deal with you later on if you become a star, or they have to shut down a show. So this guy lied on his application, and now because he said his statement was, "I was not convicted as of yet," at that time.
Okay, he wasn't convicted, but wouldn't he still pop up when, young Jewish Hannah in production is kind of going through the profiles of
I don't know.
all these guys?
I can also tell you with a certain degree of certainty that a lot of times they're just getting tapes and they're looking at him. They just fall in love with a certain candidate. They're like, "Have you seen Lincoln? I'm really pushing for Lincoln. Will you push for Lincoln with me? And we'll get him on the show because he's a wonderful man." There's somebody who just falls in
Lights,
love with him
mics.
and then just doesn't. They're like, "Of course he's not a criminal. He's Lincoln. He's the best. We talked to him. He's charming."
He's gonna get, and he's in the clink.
2-year suspended sentence, which I never understand. Why even say that you're going to jail and then suspend the sentence for 2 years? By the way,
So that he can go grab some more before he goes in.
Exactly. By the way, fact checked: indecent assault and battery. So,
Got it.
yes.
Interesting. And that's not the only skeleton in this guy's closet. I don't know the specific details, but you can verify this. He got in trouble for shitting on the floor at his work.
Right. That's the only thing I remember is seeing a headline like, "Turns out Lincoln shit on a floor somewhere." Yeah.
They called him a floor pooper.
Well, I think plenty of good men have done that.
That would be an amazing way to leave The Bachelor if
I hope he does it. The worst thing about this guy,
we still haven't said it, evidently.
I don't get what friction has to do with the Earth being flat. Like, why? I guess
Weirdly, when he said that, I kind of understood what he meant. I mean, I totally, obviously don't agree with it, but when he said that, I was like, I think he's trying to be an asshole, but he clearly has thought about it a little bit.
That's the thing with flat earthers. For us lay people, we know it's wrong, but they've watched so many YouTube videos and stuff. They can
Only
make a
on
case
YouTube.
that I'm not smart enough to argue against, even though I know it's wrong.
No, but I don't think you have to be smart. Like, okay, if we want to talk about friction and gravity, like he tried to make the point that if the ocean is up here, he kind of sounds like Bjork and not at times. I'm not going to try to do his accent. He said, if we're down here, why isn't the ocean falling on our heads?
Yeah. Which was a scary thought. It made me pause for a minute. I was saying, maybe there is some magic just holding all the world's
what
oceans.
does he think? It's just one flat thing, and you turn around when you get to the other side. There's no going on the bottom in his world.
And the
that is
moon and
flat.
seasons, and there's so many.
We've spent way too
No.
much time.
I think that he would contend in his science world that when you do go around to the bottom, that's probably your night but then weirdly you're kind of on top because of the friction. That'll keep you stuck to it.
I saw Dark World starring Kiefer Sutherland. Check it out. It's really good. It's exactly what Alec just described.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The world goes upside down at night?
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
Hence Dark World.
He welcomes a hot chocolate with any astrophysicist who's willing to talk to him. And I really, really do think that if we just freaking just really commit to this, I think we can forge this, and I think that we can talk to him.
Oh my gosh, that would be groundbreaking in another Bachelor podcast. We get an astrophysicist.
100%.
We get Lincoln in here.
Yeah.
We have them duke it out. Off-season content.
I totally think, but I think you're misunderstanding my point. I think we could pose as astrophysicists and convince him to get on this show. I really do.
That's funny. And
I
we
like
have hot
it.
chocolate. We have Swiss Miss packets.
Yeah.
on hand.
Alec can come back and be the astrophysicist.
I don't know if I'm smart enough to even pretend to pull that off.
Hey, gentlemen, this is probably very inappropriate to say. But given Becca's choices up till now, and we're going to discuss her night date with Garrett, her picker is really off. Obviously, she kept Lincoln around. That's horrible, right?
Right.
And, Alec and I were talking off mic, and, you guys consider me a misogynist, so I'll just go on record as saying what I'm about to say, and then I'll just say that Alec perhaps might have agreed with me about this.
Okay.
She's not an attractive bachelor.
Okay.
She's not that smart.
Okay.
She's not funny at all. She's not interesting, and she does not have a great ass. And Rue McClanahan is doing her wardrobe.
Yeah.
This Bachelorette sucks.
I'm gonna partially disavow his statement after he spoke for me beforehand. And, we didn't get into specifics. There was just kind of a general thing of like, she's kind of disappointing, isn't she? Yeah, I agree. And then he just went off on that rant. I agree. She shouldn't be on television. We agreed on that point.
Alec before the show was like, she's a terrible fucking ass. Why is she? All right, let's get into night date.
Night date.
They go to the Big Moose Yacht Club, which is private. Pat, get that bomb drop.
Wait, yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
fucking bomb dropped here, dude. This date was going swimmingly.
Garrett lets Becca know that he fell in love with adventure and a girl that loves adventure. And then that adventure ended in divorce. She hears about, and then she asks, like, we talked about it, the time of it, like, it just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Like, they were together for, what was it, like 2 years, engaged for a year, divorced in a couple weeks.
So what were your past relationships? I mean, when was the most recent one?
Yeah, I mean, I was in love once, and it was right when I got out of college. I was 23 years old.
I can't stress the age enough.
And after hanging out and exploring life together and going on all these adventures, I grew to love that about her through the point of getting married to her. And one thing led to another. Then we got divorced.
You know.
As people
How long
do.
were you guys together before you got engaged and got married?
We were together for a year and a half before we got engaged, and then we were engaged for a year, and then we got married, and after 2 months of marriage, we got divorced. And I think that I fell in love with and got married to the wrong person.
He had this technique, which he's clearly used on other women, where it's like, I'm going to talk to you like I'm your second grade teacher.
Okay.
And I was, and the marriage part itself, which is when two special people get together, that was 2 months. The other things were what they were.
And he totally, it couldn't be more Seinfeld, yada, yada, yada. One thing led to another. We got divorced.
I had a different read on it. I thought he sounded like when like an infant or a toddler who's like just kind of figuring English out, and they're telling like a story that's too complicated for them to tell. They're like, we were married and then we got engaged, and then that's what he sounded like to me. He's very childlike, even though
I have a take on this.
Yeah.
Because she's a low self-esteem bachelorette, this crushed her. Like, you actually saw her devastation in her face.
I disagree.
Her vagina dried up
I
instantly.
don't think so at all.
What with her follow-up questions, you could tell the way she was like, so how long was
No,
it?
she had the best follow-up question ever. She asks, what did she say to you?
I know. What did she do?
And we actually have a clip.
I don't know this girl in your past relationship at all, but
It's his ex-wife,
what would
Becca.
she do?
What would she do? It was like,
Or what would she say?
yeah, so she was very
in
emotionally
general?
abusive. She would take me down emotionally, and then she would build me back up. So I was on like this roller coaster ride. What she was doing, which I didn't realize, was it was driving a wedge between me and my family and a lot of my close friends.
But like, did you not notice that early on?
I did notice it. There were some like red flags like that. But I was like so in love, and it was so hard to let go. I wanted to fight and try to make it work out. And I was embarrassed because no one in like my entire bloodline had ever been
Bloodline.
Weird word to use.
Wow, is he a werewolf?
He's a
No
freak.
one in this bloodline.
He's amazing.
He's a nativist.
That's crazy. But he also, God, boy, there was so much fascinating about that clip. It was running by me as he's talking about it. You're right. So you were saying childlike before. He has this like thing where it's like, and then we went and did this, and then we saw this man, and we got some ice cream.
Totally.
He's a piece of shit. Who plays a victim like this, complaining about your ex-wife or your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, she destroyed my soul. This is what women should be talking about their ex-husbands.
I was thinking, he sounds like old Chloe Dykstra.
And had it been reversed, you'd be playing like cue the romantic music underneath it, her telling her dramatic story.
Right.
Instead, it's dead silence.
Right.
I have a real pet peeve with guys who basically throw their exes under the bus and say the relationship didn't work out because of them.
Oh, do you
Like,
think she has a different version?
yeah, I'd say. And by the way, that's nothing. I had an ex-girlfriend that used to wait till I was driving the car that she was in to fucking cold cock me in the face. That's abuse. And you don't hear me complaining about that,
Wow.
pussy.
I actually
The
bet.
hard streets.
Yeah, I bet his girlfriend actually is someplace being like, "Oh yeah, I fucked this guy up. I made this little pussy cry. I was so close for him not even talking to his
Oh, the
family."
stuff
again.
I would say? Oh, don't even ask what I would say.
That was a
'Cause it's
real
lot.
witch.
Also, it just seemed like when he was going through it, there was a part of it where like you almost wanted to cut back to his room and him practicing it in front of the mirror. It
Right.
was like very much like
Yeah.
they're just little
Beats.
these are key points
Yeah.
that I'm going to hit along the way. I fought for it, but it didn't work out.
Yep.
You know, like it's just like I need her to hear these little bullet points.
Yeah, it was a little rehearsed.
This is like something we discuss a lot. Like every one-on-one day, they sit down, person gives sob story, and sometimes they sound so wrought. Like I don't know if you guys remember Peter from Wisconsin last year. He had
Best
his
candidate of all
ex-girlfriend. He saw her through his rear view mirror. It was literally
Right.
it was pros.
Yeah. Let's get back to the low self-esteem Bachelorette.
Yeah.
I don't know how this happened, but somehow this story of a 2-month marriage and divorce reassured her of, quote, his loyalty and commitment. How?
Solid point.
He gets the rose. Says
that's
it's been a great day, and she says it's not over.
And then
We've gotten some heavy hitters this season. Last week we had Songbird Dick Marks, as you called him.
Richard Marks still got his fastball.
This week,
who we were informed off mic, of course,
Yeah.
that he's sticking it to Daisy Fuentes.
and by,
Happily
they're wed.
married.
by sticking it, you mean
They're
happily
they're
married.
happily married.
Yeah. Matrimony and all that stuff. Everlasting love. Sticking it to her. But this week we get Granger Smith, who...
AKA Earl Dibbles Jr.
Well, you've said Chris looks like the evil Ben
Smith, that's
Stiller.
right.
Granger Smith looks like an evil Ben Stiller.
He's right about Chris, 100%. Chris looks like evil Ben Stiller, and also, do you know the actor Ron Perlman?
Yeah. Of
course.
He's Hellboy.
Yeah.
You know, like a young Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
He's also in
know that.
Sons
Of
Son
Anarchy.
of
Of Anarchy. Yeah. There's more to that title.
I can't believe I talk about it so familiar. I don't watch that show. Sons?
Pat's sound effects are trying to
It's
tell
his
us
bit.
there's an elephant in the room.
Yeah, who the fuck is Granger Richard Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Why is he
I
on
love
this show?
I love this.
Dude, and usually they try to have like up and comers they're trying to push down our throats. I did a little digging, as I'm wont to do. He was signed when he was 19 years old.
How old is he now?
He is 38 years old. He has been at this for a while.
Yeah, going on 2 decades, man.
Oh boy.
Well,
it's funny. That is totally a thing on the show where it's like, and then we walked around the corner. And it was Bill Devins. And you're just like, who? I've never heard that name before in my life.
no, it's like
and then,
ABC's indie label that's like trying to push out these.
I have to give a shout out though for a few seasons ago to adult. I don't want to pigeonhole him. He's a rocker, and I went to elementary school with him. His name is Matt Nathanson, and he totally kicks ass. Like he's got a lot of good stuff.
I've known about him for a while, actually.
Do you know him?
No, not know him, but
Yeah.
I've heard of him and shit. Like I have friends who listen to him.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea who he is, but I trust you.
He's popular within people who look more like me than you guys.
Does he sound like Wilco or something?
What does that mean?
He sounds like you guys are younger than I am.
okay.
That's an age thing.
We
He got it.
go scraggly beards.
What is he? Sir, you took offense to that.
I'm trying to connect. No, we're fucking the same.
I take grave offense at what you've just said, which I didn't understand.
Hey, Pat,
It's a little
Nathanson?
Granger.
who is this?
I have to
Is
assume
that
it's
Matt Nathanson? There you go. This is what Matt Nathanson sounds like.
Okay,
He's doing it.
so like Chris Tomlin a little bit.
I don't know who that is. I only
Christ-
know Matt Nathanson.
He's a Christ rocker.
Oh, no, we're not going to do Matt like that. Matt has his own relationship with God, yes, but it does not come out in song form.
Does anybody who does anybody who how's the English work here? I'm just gonna move on. Hey, I don't want to punch a dying horse. I think that's the expression, but we've covered this before. This is one of the most awkward situations you can put 2 human beings in on the face of the planet. Crowded room.
Oh, yeah.
Artists who nobody fucking knows and now dance on a raised platform in front of everybody.
Yes.
It's just insane that they consistently do this every year,
And
and sometimes multiple
Who's
times.
the crowd? Like, who's the crowd? Who's in the crowd?
I follow at Bachelor Casting, and every once in a while they'll put out cattle calls for people to be in these crowds.
There you go.
So you just got to be in the world, you know.
Who's in this crowd? Who are the people in this crowd?
I was actually in the audience for the Bachelorette finale last year, or Bachelor finale.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was research, but it taught me nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like Seth MacFarlane's sister, who's a huge fan of The Bachelor, was also in the audience that night.
She probably got the good night. I was on the night where we just watched the breakup and shit, and then the next night, Ari and Becca were on stage together. I'm sure she was at the.
She got the primo night.
Yeah.
You can't pack.
She probably had a
all
fucking
of that
wristband, and she was on TV.
into one show. You just can't do it. It's impossible. Pat, do you have something to say, baby?
I was just gonna say, if I was on The Bachelorette as a contestant and I knew this was coming up, I'd tell one of the producers I gotta take a dump, and then I'd run out the back door. Well, they gotta cut it together somehow.
I was gonna say
They'd be like, pull a Lincoln. Go right here. Get in there.
I was gonna say that's a very, very long dump.
Oh, by the way, with Lincoln shitting on the floor, I know he calls him the Nigerian. Can we just start calling him Stinking Lincoln?
I kind of.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty good.
I like Dishonest Abe, but I like the Nigerian a lot more. Before we get into this group date, we have to get into some iTunes ratings and reviews. We'll be right back. I do want to tell the audience, maybe you missed the iTunes ratings and review segment last week. Did you miss it?
I did.
Pat, did you miss it?
I definitely did.
You know,
Dill.
the reason why that segment was not slugged in the old podcast is because, peel back the curtain, we got in a massive fight over one of Pat's segments, which was a cacophony of dogs barking in a kennel as he read the iTunes rating and review. So we thought it was a little too loud. And that just lit the powder keg. It was very real. It was 18 minutes long, and we're doing fine.
Very different vibes in here tonight than there were.
I just want to tell you guys, I don't know how. I don't know when. But you guys must hear this fight, because it is some of the best broadcasting we've ever done. It is hilarious, and we'll figure out how to deliver it to you at some point in the future.
I felt like it was an ugly, dark side of us all But I agree.
It was
It must be
so
heard.
funny.
It must be heard.
It's so funny. But anyways, Pat,
Yeah, buddy.
how you feeling?
Well, after that, I'm feeling even better.
Do we have any iTunes ratings and reviews this week?
Yeah, let me get to it. And just to harken back to what Dylan was saying, both my co-hosts shut down my strip club, Casa de Diablo Hickey, and I was looking to keep revenue coming in by opening a dog boarding store. Well, is that a store? No, yeah.
It's a store.
Yeah, it's a store. By reading reviews and watching people's dogs for money. They didn't like that. And Dylan, off mic, maybe it was during the argument, said he's the funniest one during the podcast. And he said that that's why I should listen to him and not do that. And I should just read reviews now without any of those other business entities occurring in the background. So I'm going to do that. You guys let us know what you think on the Facebook group about this segment.
Thank God.
I feel like you'll like this. They've been pretty adversarial towards me lately. I feel like.
How's that?
I guess one was implied. Well, let's just see what he got.
Oh, yeah. What do you got, Pat?
Oh, sure. Okay, so I don't want to read a lot of reviews. I'll focus on one. But I will say I want to thank Jess from La Crosse. I want to thank Mary Ellen for putting in the title of her review, Genius. She's referring to me, I guess. And then I also want to thank Kate Hyde for saying...
How do you figure that she was referring to you?
Well, she also added that Nick was irrelevant. So again, because we had that fight last week, I don't want to get into that review. That will probably get us on, blowing up again.
Yeah.
So I'll read a different review. This was by Anna143. All right, 5 stars left by Anna. I only watch the show so I can listen to this podcast. So funny. Just wish new episodes posted sooner. Loved when you used to post them every Thursday.
Was that verbatim what that review said?
That was 100% verbatim.
It really does say
Nick,
that.
what do you have to say?
I'm a huge fan of Jocko Willink, and I take extreme ownership. And I have been late with the shows. I'm not going to make a single excuse. I'm going to try to get this one out sooner. No, I'm going to get this one out sooner. And I appreciate the constructive criticism.
Well said. Well said.
And since I forgot this during the actual taping of the episode, I'm just going to crowbar my segment into this segment.
Oh, yeah. That sounds fun.
Patrick mentioned it in the beginning of the show, but I actually wanted to make it an actual bit. Errors and omissions, baby. Last week, I just really want to quickly apologize. When referencing Grizzly Man, I mistakenly called the fox that stole Timothy Treadwell's hat, I called him Chocolate, when in fact that fox name is Ghost. And that is the end of Arrows and Omissions. Back to you, Pat.
Thanks, dude.
You done?
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
Group date. Is this
Group date, that's my job.
The largest one yet, guys. We got lucky number 13. 13 boys on this. Pat, you want to give us a roll call?
I didn't write it down.
How fucking dare you? Are you kidding me? You're the producer of this show.
I was starting to get tired.
Why are you not more upset? I'm livid right now.
Because I take extreme ownership, and usually I have a backup roll call ready, and I didn't either.
Oh, my God.
Lincoln Log.
Oh, no, I do. Check it out.
Maybe Lincoln Log.
Date card. Jordan, Chris, Blake, Nick, John, Lincoln, Leo, David, Connor, Kristan, Jason, Colton, John Block.
Hit the music.
Hit the music.
Leo says the guys are ready for war. John the nerd tries to hold her hand for a bit at the beginning there, and then they take that turn, and he sees what is the worst thing that he could possibly see.
He's like, is there any chance this is a coding group date? He created Venmo.
It's lumberjacking. Becca's a hick. She says that she wanted to show them the lumberjack competitions that she grew up watching at the state fair, where they take fresh watermelons, batter them, and then deep fry them so that they're edible to the people of Minnesota.
It's close. I am a big proponent of the Minnesota State Fair, the great get-together. It's a beautiful place. And just this entire date was right up my alley. I love lumberjack games.
Yeah.
I used to be a fervent supporter of ESPN's Great Outdoor Games, canceled in 2006. Also, the Lumberjack World Championships.
Canceled in 2006. Has it been that long?
It has. It has. So you watch also the Lumberjack World Championships, Hayward, Wisconsin. But so you were a fan of ESPN Outdoor Games. You may.
I wouldn't say that. I was aware of them.
You know what? And I'm kind of shitting on this right now.
It's impressive.
It's super fucking impressive. Yeah. I mean, those fucking the log climbs, the log rolls, all the things that have to do with logs.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but I actually went to high school with the Hoeschlers, who are
let's get a clean gasp.
who are a boom run dynasty. It is not a stretch to say the Hoeschlers are to the log roll what the Gracies are to jiu-jitsu. This family...
You got me coming and going there.
Yeah, a lot to take in, but I'm telling you, I was like really excited when I saw this, and just today, a buddy from back home sent me an Instagram post. The Hoeschlers were on Fox and Friends, teaching them to log roll.
So Fox and
Local
Friends
legend.
is the most fascinating show.
International superstars.
Thank you.
God.
Sorry.
Can you just
Lizzie,
imagine?
Will, and Abby.
Can you
what a
imagine
family.
our dear leader just like, leave me alone. Can't you see what they're doing? This is amazing. God, my Donald Trump is so fucking spot on.
I've already forgotten the log rolling dynasty family, by the way.
The Hoeschlers.
Okay.
Also huge in real estate.
So anyways, they introduced the champion lumberjack lovers, and I was thinking that if this woman was also in a loving relationship with another strong woman in plaid, I wouldn't have batted an eye. She seems like...
It felt like that was the way the episode was going after the bobsled team.
Yeah.
That it would lead logically to sort of Lady Lumberjacks.
Right.
Because also, I'm assuming we all get the same commercials. There's a commercial for Vegas right now, and it's a lesbian couple eloping. So I was sensing a theme all night. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I really love that commercial. That's a really sweet commercial.
I just feel like it's a small sect of their demographic that's going to Vegas for that. I don't know. Like
You say Vegas weird.
Yeah, the first time he said it very weird. He
Very
said
weird.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Which was, that threw me too.
I say stuff weird sometimes.
Yeah.
That was,
guys, so
I got that too.
I have a little gap in my notes here. Want to help me fill in some details?
There's not a lot here. That's why I stopped taking notes.
It was, again, very boring Bachelorette, very boring episode.
I loved the episode. I will say John Block at one point said he wanted to be Becca's John Henry, getting his fables mixed up, unless, of course, he thought he was going to end the competition with a giant heart attack. I believe the fable he's looking for is Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan. I love that correction.
John Henry is a steel driver.
Yeah. Correct.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Was that John Henry who challenged a steam shovel?
Damn right. And he
Okay.
made
Dude.
some... And it's the lore that he made some famous tunnel and then died in victory
I
because his heart
remember
gave
seeing
out.
a vivid animation of this story when I was a kid. The way that it was drawn, it's like burned into my brain.
That's our side of communist propaganda. That's like the other side of it for us. That's what we get. Like, we get that shit growing up. It's like, yes, if I die in a tunnel, that's a noble death, right?
Nope, it's just really fucking sad.
Yeah, sad.
Listen, we love Jordan, but Leo is the person that I love the most. When John is racing up that telephone pole that is thicker than a telephone pole, but I'll just call it a telephone pole, he says, this is a tight race, but this is John's moment.
And it really was.
It was.
The entire time I've been like, why is John still here? He's token Asian. They're trying to diversify.
Crushed it.
He was so cool. Even earlier in the episode, he was kind of trolling John Block, saying he's going to get the one-on-one. And he just shows up like a rock star, showing off the pythons too, but really cute like.
Oh, I know who we're talking about now.
Yeah,
It took me
Asian
that
John
long.
created
Okay.
Venmo.
Yeah, extremely rich Asian guy that lives in San Francisco.
He really... Oh, you weren't
He didn't.
kidding.
He didn't create Venmo. He was
He
a
was the-
programmer that worked on
He was a
Venmo.
developer of,
Okay.
Yeah.
of the website, which even on the low end, he's still making. I
Are
believe-
you 60? You just called Venmo a website.
Okay.
I would have called it that, too. I don't know.
So we got to talk about. There's lots of teasing with Jean Blanc. He says that he got her a gift like before they go into the night date, and I was wondering if it was going to be like an axe. and they would have to have that same conversation again. She'd be like, "Did you steal that?"
That would have been funny if he, because John won the Golden Axe for winning that competition,
Right.
even though it's not the real Golden Axe, which is competed for every year by the Minnesota Gophers and the Wisconsin Badgers,
I know, yeah.
which the Wisconsin Badgers have won 14 years in a row.
All right, we don't need that.
Wow.
But yeah, I thought it would just be hilarious if he did in fact pack a head massager and an axe to quote unquote take care of Becca.
Oh, that's right. He's the head massager guy too. Oh, the evidence is piling up against this weirdo.
Let's get into more about this weirdo. Night date.
Night date.
She says that Jason's a good kisser, but I don't know. I saw in high definition her shooting down multiple attempts at a French.
Jason looks as Scott Baio, by the way.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He looks exactly like Scott Baio.
You mean Goomba Buffalo guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he looks like Andrew Keegan from 10 Things I Hate About You.
There's a touch of Baio, but it has like a little like Vinny Pazienza or something mixed in. It's like somebody who's...
I would say there's a 50-50 split of references that have sailed over my head. And
Vinny Paz was a boxer.
understood.
Vinny Pazienza was a boxer.
Oh my
whose face
gosh.
was- yeah, for who?
He came in here.
He did.
He interviewed here, yeah.
Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah. We called him Vinny Pazienza, and he said...
Call me Paz.
I'm Vinny Paz.
Vinny Paz.
Yeah. Miles Teller.
Yeah, that's right.
Played him
There
in
he
the
is,
movie.
coming up again.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so Becca asked him a question which I thought was very interesting. She asked, "Are you struggling?" And I don't know if that's because he's in the top 4, or
You talking about Jason?
I'm talking about Scott Baio, yes, or Vinny. Call him Vinny Paz.
Yeah, Vinny Paz.
Or Andrew Keegan from 10
Andrew
Things I Hate About You.
yeah.
I thought it was an interesting question because I think she cares about him and she wants to make sure he's cool. What's your take on that?
I think she really, really likes him, and I think that he's going to go pretty far in this competition. I don't know if he's going to make it to hometowns. I think he might be getting set up for one of the biggest heartbreaks of the season, which is the axe right before hometowns.
Yes. Don't want to do it. I totally agree with that. Yeah, he's chum because
Yeah.
he's like friendly enough where she knows like, oh, I can kind of destroy this guy,
Yep.
and he'll still be like, you know what? It was great meeting you.
Yeah,
And,
totally. And he gets false hope that he's like, I know I'm not Colton, but I think she really likes me, and it's a lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
And I agree
And
with...
he's very not Colton.
Yeah, no, he's not.
I agree. He's getting the axe right before hometowns because I'm going to lay my hometown 4 out right now. It's Colton, Blake, Garrett, and then Wills to throw in a little color. It should be
Yeah.
Jason, but they're going to want to diversify.
Yeah.
They do it.
I love it. It's,
Yeah.
It's analyzed so properly.
I have
Colton were you getting a little Chris Pine vibe from Colton at times?
it's weird to say I think Chris Pine's gorgeous. I think Colton's more attractive than Chris Pine. It's weird.
I agree. His eyes are more wide open and they see through you.
I think he looks like our last bachelor, Nick, with a beer gut.
Nope.
Look at him. Look at him in the face.
Nope.
Yeah, 100%.
Nope.
I stand by it.
They would be in the same sort of like orangutan family, the two of them.
Yeah.
They're similar, but they're not. I don't.
They're
think
like
exactly.
blonde, beautiful sociopaths.
Well, Nick's not blonde. No.
Yeah.
Nick Vile?
Yeah.
Blonde?
It's a dirty blonde.
It's a dirty.
That's controversial.
It's like that fucking dress. Okay, she asked Colton.
Or Yanni Laurel if you want to get more contemporary.
Colton is asked, "Have you ever been in love?" And he does this weird turn where he's like, "Yeah, I have been, but when I'm with you, it's easy." What? What are you talking about? He is so fucking dumb. Every time he opens his mouth, I don't know how she's not like, "This is bad news." Everything that comes out of his mouth is wrong. What's that Instagram account that people need to be following on grammatical corrections?
@bad_bachelor_grammar.
He has to be all over that thing.
I gotta follow that.
They don't post enough. They could be there, but they're just getting their feet under them. But I love the idea.
I mean, do you guys want to talk about Jordan and his golden draws?
I'm sick of his flabby ass. He's male model. My
yeah.
dick.
I mean, he's bloated. He's got a fat face. He's not a model. Colton's a model. Kristan is a model. We need to get into Jean Block. He gives her a gift. Bunch of toilet water. Named Miss Becca Blanc. I don't know how it took so long to pull this bottle out. I feel like this is a night one type thing, like maybe like a gag on night one.
Yeah, that would have been out of the limo and out of the limo thing. You know,
that's his narrative. He loves cologne. I got you some cologne. Not
if it was going to be used as some shameless promotion for his company, it should have been out of the limo. But yeah, why hold this?
He also mentioned how like he handed it to her and he's like, "Oh, I know you want your name hyphenated," and like I could just see him before that toiling like this is what's going to send him home. He didn't hyphenate the name. No, you had no chance.
He was in such a fucked up headspace. Like I think he tried to play the game, but failed miraculously because he does not have the charisma needed to pull a move like that off. Also, he's not white. I don't think that's going to work with her.
Ultimately.
I got a clip. Can I play a clip?
Yeah, go ahead, play it.
It's not going to work with her.
And I know relationships are developing on a different pace and a different level, and I feel as though the connection really has always been there. I felt as though it was instantaneous last time I met you.
The opposite.
And, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and really haven't felt like this in a long, long time. And I wanted to let you know that I'm truly falling for you, and I'm falling in love with you, and I'm just putting it out there.
And the eyebrows? Well, what do you think?
Well, I mean, that's editing, but
I don't know your relationship history, and you say that you haven't been feeling like this in a while, and so I don't know what it is that brought it on so quickly.
Oh, this is so brutal.
It's very intense, and it's a lot to take in, and I don't know if I'm on that same page.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a take here.
Yeah. Is it hot or is it just...
It's a hot take.
Okay.
All my takes are hot, dude.
No, they are not. But when they're hot, they're scalding.
Says me! All right, let me get to it. Shut up. All right. What she's suffering from here is a thing that I'm going to call romance fatigue, okay? Insert any one of 4 dudes that she's not into, throwing those lines out at her, they were going to send that ass
Blake
home.
would have hit that out of the park.
He made the mistake of timing. She'd been all day making out with a dude. You know what it's like. Dude, I've been really into a chick and stayed over her house for a weekend. By Sunday night, I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of here, man.
Right.
I'm sick of telling you how much you like each other.
Yeah.
I'm sick of you. And that's what she's experiencing right there.
Yeah, it's weird.
Timing.
And ultimately, I think
said.
He's rubbing her the wrong way because it is so disingenuous, or what is it? Ingenuitous?
Ingenuity. Another Jordan classic.
She kicks him off the show. Does he ask for the cologne back?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
It's weird. Like, why would you want that as a memento? Like, can I get that back? I just want to remember this painful experience that's being broadcasted on national
because scent
television.
is the sense most closely tied to memory.
Yeah,
according to an Axe commercial that ran for 4 years.
Well, according to science too.
That's right.
I don't think Axe is just pulling out facts from thin air.
They wouldn't do that.
She says that you moved a little too quickly. Like, this whole walk back is excruciating. It's cold. It's long. And they have plenty of time to talk after she kicks him off. And she's like, you just moved a little too quickly. And he's like, I was saying what I thought you wanted to hear.
The worst thing he could possibly say to her.
And
just the worst.
She was like...
It's like he was a robot malfunctioning a little bit. There was like...
Totally.
Some moisture field that it had walked through, and there were some problems.
A couple wires got a little too damp.
Just saying what programming telling me to say.
But she was like, so you weren't being honest? And he's like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah, it's like, no.
Yeah, just a brief moment of honesty. No, I've known you for 4 weeks. I don't love you. That'd be retarded.
Yeah, but it was brutal. But
it just pushes all of her insecurity buttons.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what she's, I'm sure, most worried about. Like, somebody has to really love me.
And that is going to segue into the next morning, which, I mean, she walks in and she is fucking devastated.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Who knows? She did not like this guy. I don't know why this has hit her so fucking hard.
I know.
She's in tears on the one-on-one with Wills.
It was great.
And it also sends ripples throughout the gents as well. Leo's like, now every guy she dates, she's going to be asking, is he there is he here to deceive me?
Connor sounded really creepy when they were talking about it, too. He's like, her guard's going to be up again. I can't take advantage of her. I had her broken down.
That's so great.
Will's one-on-one. You guys want to talk about it?
Not really.
That was
Briefly.
boring.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about it, but I do want to ask you guys a question. How do we feel about the mustache? Does anybody have any feelings about the mustache?
It's got a good kind of like early 90s vibe.
I was just
somehow.
going to say his whole thing's 90s vibe. He's got the flat top. He's got the mustache.
I like his style. He dresses well. I mean, I couldn't pull that stuff off, but I think it looks good on him.
He looks like Kellen Winslow Sr.
Didn't get it. That's one of those that sailed right over.
Kellen Winslow Sr. Really? Does he?
Yeah.
Badass date, snowmobiling. It's a nice date, but what is there to say? He's a stand-up guy. Pat, you have any thoughts on this?
I do. There's something that needs to be discussed here, in my opinion. Okay, so the snowmobile date, and then they have dinner in a cabin, boring snore fest.
Yep.
But something interesting comes out. He's the second pussy in this episode to launch into a tirade about it's his ex that created a breakup by being a complete bitch.
Right.
And I don't like that. That's not a good play. This is where you sit down at the table, talk about the grandpa that you love, that you used to sit on his knee at Christmas.
That's good advice.
And then he passed away, and how much he meant to you. They'll cue that music up for you. It'll be delightful. It'll be an emotional journey. And that's how you fucking do a night date and get the rose, man. Don't mention exes. Keep that quiet. Politics, sex, and religion. Keep
By the way, that is the most Belichickian thing you've said all night. That's exactly what they should be doing at that dinner. You just stick to it. Just talk about deceased relatives, and that's the whole thing. That's it. That's all this is.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like the holy grail would be younger sibling. If you had younger, a lot of people have parents.
That's instant hometown.
Yeah.
That's like the golden buzzer in whatever that show is, where you just go right to the finals.
Oh, I thought you were saying no whammies, stop.
America's Got Talent.
Oh.
I think. Whatever the one with Simon Cowell is.
He gets the rose, guys, and then another bomb gets dropped. No cocktail party. What is the reasoning here? Is it romantic fatigue? Why do they not have a cocktail ceremony?
She's made up her mind.
Okay.
She knows what she's going to do. And I think you're right. It is totally romance fatigue.
Yeah,
it's just like, I don't even want to.
She goes out there and she's like, guys, I know this past night was tough on all of us. I think the guys are sitting there like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
We weren't there.
We weren't there, and a man got sent home, which is something that makes us happy. It's kind of the point of the game. Couple guys go home. Pat, you have a roll call for this?
Nah, man, I was falling asleep at the
You
tail end.
have got to be kidding me.
I got it. Leo, Colton, Blake, Jason, Connor, Lincoln, John, Chris, David, Jordan.
I'm going to yell at him right now. He asked for the people that got sent home, not the motherfuckers that stayed.
Oh.
I get yelled at this all the time. Fuck you both.
I am
bad.
in a whirlwind of rage right now. I am so disappointed in both of you. But
Kristan
Pat,
and Nick.
Okay, Pat, we'll talk about this later. Holy shit.
I'm sensing this is a plot against me. Submarine the show. Fancy Pants, part of Massachusetts he's from.
Kristan goes home. Now, I have a big problem with this.
Never knew the man.
This is akin to Haley being sent home in week 3 of Nick's season. Why? There's no reason. He's a great guy, and he's fucking hot. Those eyes, he should be, I know I said it, he should be a model. He should be a model.
Man bun guy.
No.
Who are we talking about?
Tall African-American fellow that played for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, yeah. And he's a star, that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
I don't know if
beautiful.
you're being sarcastic.
No. Yeah, I mean, believe me, anyone who's been on the Globetrotters, that's awesome already.
You know how to entertain.
You're up here. Yeah. And
And
then
now-
it's legit. It's like legit basketball, and it's awesome.
He's left them, and now he's just on a traveling dunk team. They just go around the country and dunk. So that is dope. He handled it super well.
He did. He's a stand-up dude. I don't know why he got sent home. The other guy that got sent home is the guy that laid it all out there.
Hey, tracksuit worked once.
Yeah.
Why didn't you pull it out again, man?
Yeah. Just
Laid it all out there.
keep it 3/4 zip, show the cross, and you'll get into the next week.
This is
He
like
didn't
Michael
commit.
Jordan not wearing his North Carolina basketball shorts.
Oh, yeah, when he got that flu.
Close.
He knows. This guy knows sports.
Hey,
He knows soccer. He's helping me on my World Cup bets.
Football.
It is. It's very, very late in here. We got to thank our guest Alex Sulkin for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was very fun figuring out as we went along what the rules were.
Yeah, totally. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, thank you for that support.
Before we go, please jump in those iTunes ratings and reviews. Follow us on Facebook.com. What's the page called, Nick?
Facebook.com/group/Another Bachelor Podcast.
I always put you in that spot.
Oh, boy, that all sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, just search Another Bachelor Podcast. It's way easier than typing long URLs.
So see us there. You'll see tons of videos of Pat's Ugly Dogs and other stuff like that. Also,
Alex should join our Facebook group. We kick someone out every week.
I think he's got too much stuff on his plate, but we do not kick somebody out every week because we only kick people out when the words "let's do the damn thing" have been uttered, which has not happened.
Week 1 was a bloodbath.
Which is why we have not called or cockled the fan base in a while. But do join us there. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
You want to say goodbye, Alec?
Sure. Goodbye.